Okay, connected. Took a little bit longer than usual today. Good morning, everybody, or actually, good afternoon. It is a little afternoon today for the 133rd episode of Time Out Tuesday. That would make it the 133rd week that I've come to you live with, I guess, what you might call random thoughts or happenings. Sometimes they're related to the dojo or maybe just a little bit of life in general. Today, when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about, I was reflecting just back on a few conversations from this past week that I had that was, related obviously to the circumstance that we're all living in right now with some level of either social distancing or social isolations or, the various degrees to which people are protecting themselves and their families and continuing to do so, which I believe is obviously the wise move under the circumstances. But one of the things that kind of kept repeating throughout the course of this week, as I was talking with friends and family, were the changes that seem to be taking place in people's thought process and that are seemingly likely. No one knows for sure, but seemingly likely to live on beyond the pandemic. In other words, some level of either enlightenment about something or a revelation about the way that we're doing something and the way they can do it now that they felt would change permanently. And although I do believe that that might carry its way over to how people socially interact and their closeness with people and their physical engagement. That's not actually what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to go over the Rubicon into the germaphobe side of how our lives may change. And I'm not trying to make fun of anybody who's concerned about the coronavirus germ. I'm plenty concerned. So no offense intended to anybody who's concerned and being very wary. But what I did hear a few times this week was very interesting. Little changes to the way we're going to conduct our lives, and I can start really close to home. One of the things I was talking about with my wife, Sensei Terry, was that in the past she would make anywhere from 4 or more trips to the grocery store on her way to work, on her way back from work, got to pick up a thing of milk, got to get a thing of lettuce. And it was always in and out, in and out, in and out. And that was for years and years and years. And then, of course, when the pandemic hit and we kind of shut everything down and worked on getting food deliveries more in bulk and in fact, even seeking out other ways of getting food in bulk, one of the things that Terry realized was how much time every single week she was spending. If you just spend 4 trips into the grocery store a week, just not even counting the amount of time in the grocery store, the 15 minutes it takes you to get there, park, get into the grocery store, get your stuff back into your car, unload it, bring it home, all that kind of stuff. That adds up over the course of the week. And if all of a sudden you're not doing that, but instead just spending 1 hour online making your grocery selections, or perhaps in the future, one more well thought out weekly or biweekly grocery store trip, think of the time that you get back. It's sort of like when you switch from a job that you have to commute 2 hours each way to something that you're like a mile away from home. I had that experience. All of a sudden, you find yourself, you feel like you got a half a day back every day. So that was one example of being more economical with our time, going out less, doing doesn't mean buying less, and it doesn't mean that we're not supporting local businesses, but we're just going to do it in different chunks rather than $5 a day. Do it $20 one time a week, and so that was an interesting revelation, and I've heard many others like that. One person that I spoke to this week did something for the first time. They made pickles. They had a lot of cucumbers, like we do from our garden. In fact, in this particular case, it was from our garden that they had a lot of cucumbers, and they made pickles. I keep saying they, but it's actually my mother. So she made pickles, and she said they were the best pickles she ever made, and she's never going to buy another pickle again. And I thought, wow, that's going to put a real $20 dent into the pickle industry. But regardless, it's just another thing. She'll be buying cucumbers instead, of course, and all the makings for pickles, but that's a change. She changed the way she's going to make pickles. It's a minor thing, but it's still something. Throughout the course of the pandemic, one of the things that I learned, those of you who notice I keep my hair very short, there was no way I was going to go 3 or 4 months without getting a haircut, and there was no way that I was going to put myself at risk by trying to find someone to cut my hair in a way that I didn't think was going to be safe. So I did the thing that was, in my opinion, risky at the beginning, I took out a buzzer and I just went zoop, and I started buzzing my hair down to nothing. And I realized that if I do that, a couple of times, once every couple of weeks, it takes me almost no time. The outcome, based on my very elaborate hairstyle, is virtually identical. I'm sure somebody can make a case that they do a better, straighter job if you're a pro. I don't dispute that. But it saves me. I was getting my hair cut about every 3 or 4 weeks. I really like short hair. And so, that saves me. Forget about the money, because that's not really the biggest deal here. But it saves me time. It saves me at least an hour of time every single time, and breaking up my day and doing other things. It's just a change of lifestyle. I'm not suggesting that we don't support our local businesses, and luckily most people probably have a little bit more concern about what their hair looks like and wouldn't want to risk hitting themselves with a buzzer, and will probably go back to getting their hair cut. And I'm sure the hair cutting industry will do just fine once everything resumes back to normal. I'm sure that I will not cause damage to it, but it was a change. And I'm curious what other kind of things people have changed and decided that they no longer have to do the way they were doing, and they can do it differently. A couple of other quick examples, and then I'll hopefully maybe you guys can comment below with your thoughts. I'd love to hear what other people are doing. This was the first year that I didn't want to go out to a garden center and buy lots of seedlings. Normally we buy hundreds of seedlings for annual plantings and all kinds of gardens and all kinds of things that we plant every year. This year, seeing it a little bit early in March, instead we ordered online seeds and seed trays and some lighting, and basically we set up a whole system for growing seedlings and grew and planted 300 or 400 different seedlings, and everything's doing better this year than it ever did before, because I guess we just got that early start and we controlled the whole thing and nothing was forced to grow. I don't know what the reasons were. It doesn't really matter. The point is that that's the way we're going to do it from now on. And so, although we're not necessarily supporting the same exact industry, we've kind of shifted to supporting a different industry of purchasing the equipment that's necessary to do the growing from the beginning. So it's interesting. I think that there's going to be a lot of shifts, and I'm curious what you've done that you think will be a permanent change in your life. And I'm always loving comments below. I like to know if you're watching, if you're enjoying these episodes. I do them because I think they're cathartic to me. They cause me to think about the week, and it sometimes causes me to change what I'm going to do in the following week. And comment below. Tell me your thoughts. I'm always very interested. I hope everyone's having a very nice summer so far. The weather's been beautiful of late. Of course, it's been beastly hot, but we're fortunate that we live in a place with a nice climate and that we're able to spend some time outdoors. And I think that we should make the most of that, especially as we head towards different weather in the fall and the unknowns of what the status of everything is going to be. Take advantage of being outdoors, enjoy the sun, and I hope everyone has a safe and peaceful week, and I'll see you on Time Out Tuesday, episode 134 next week. Peace, everybody.